Deadly Grounds Coffee knows how important your coffee is to you. Every batch is roasted to perfection with a unique special method that brings out the richest, deepest, smoothest flavor you'll ever find. We're coffee freaks too, and deadly serious about our brew. Just one sip and you'll know why we say, once you go deadly, you don't go back. It's truly coffee to die for. So when you're ready to get a little deadly, get online and order yours at getdeadly.com. It's coffee so good, it's scary.
Greetings and welcome once again to another episode of the Retro Ridoctopus Cephala Podcast, the only show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome. We are part of the Dorkening Podcast Network, and as always, we are brought to you tonight by Deadly Grounds Coffee, coffee to die for. I am, of course, your host, Parasite Steve, aka Steve Van Sampson, and though I am sadly cohortless tonight, it is for a very good reason. It is because this happens to be another episode of our interview series, The Brig. This week, down in the slimy, ever-squirming blackness of the Brig, we have the Bram Stoker and Shirley Jackson award-nominated author of such acclaimed horror as Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, Kill Your Darling, Stay on the Line, What Kind of Mother, Ghost Eaters, and much, much more. He's 2 parts Vonnegut, 1 part Ellison, and like 9 more parts tornado made of crazed weasels. Here to promote his newest collection, Aquired Taste, it's none other than Clay McLeod Chapman. Welcome to the show, Clay.
Wow. Vonnegut? I have never, ever gotten Vonnegut before. That's like, damn.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Vonnegut's friggin' awesome. That's
So the reason I have that there is because your stuff is very much laced with humor, but you also describe really horrific things at the same time. So it's sort of like your writing isn't supposed to be funny, haha, as they say, but you're always like winking at the audience the whole time, like waiting to see, like I picture you doing like hands up just on your chin, just waiting, like watching us, like you're floating above the book and you're just waiting, like winking, like waiting, dying for our reaction. And I think, you know what it reminds me of, Clay, also is, you know that scene, I know you know it, in Mel Brooks' classic Robin Hood Men in Tights, where we have Prince John played by oh shit, I thought I had it. I was gonna say Richard Harris. That's definitely not Richard Harris. It's the Boku guy, the guy, the very Jewish, I can't remember, but anyway, so his name's escaping me, but it's Richard Lewis. Richard Lewis. That's what it is. And he's like, he's, you know, telling the sheriff of Rottingham to give him the day's bad news, but in a good way. And so then the sheriff of Rottingham proceeds to tell him this horrific stuff, but he's trying to laugh and act like it's great. And that, my friend, is what you do. Oh. And I think that Vonnegut was kind of the first person that I think I came across that was like literature that really did that.
That blows my mind. I mean, Ellison too, for damn sure. But like, it's funny because like I just foisted Slaughterhouse 5 onto my eldest son, which he read and liked. And it's funny because we started off with there's like a new graphic novel that just recently came out of Slaughterhouse 5, like a graphic novel adaptation of it. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be an interesting way to kind of like enter into Vonnegut. My son's 12, so like it's early days, and he really got into it. And I was like, well, do you want to read the real, like, do you want to read the book that and he did, and he got into it. And it's just like, I don't know, like, I feel like I remember my first time reading Vonnegut, and of course it was Slaughterhouse-Five, but like there's just like these books that you only read them once, and for an author like Vonnegut, like it's I don't know.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, certain ones, especially the ones that really hit you really hard. And you have a story in your new collection. By the way, I don't think we've, I don't know if I think I mentioned it. Acquired Taste is the new collection. And there is a story in there that I heard you read that is how I actually met you. Although I don't even believe we really met that day, but we were in the same place anyway. And it was the House of Last Resort weekend for Chris Golden, February 2023. And you read a story that we will get to that's in this. That is one of those stories that absolutely viscerally like altered my DNA, and not in a good way, but like it was so amazing. And I don't think I could probably read it again. I don't think I could. I know you know what one it is, but
I do.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
dear.
you made a very conscious effort to read that one to a cold audience, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so funny because I don't know. This is silly, but like you get these moments in life where it's like these nexus points of, I don't know if they're like opportunities or but you just like Christopher Golden and Brian King decided to throw Christopher Golden a weekend shindig,
right?
And we all attended, and there were panels and there were readings, and like the readings were all like part, like you get 3 or 4 people reading together, and you get like 10 minutes, and like I remember when I think it was like in the latter part of the day, and I was just like, oh man, or I can't remember when I went, but it was like it felt like it mattered, like that day mattered, because it was like here's your peers, and here are your heroes, and here are all these people that are just kind of milling about, and like I don't know. And that was 2 years ago now. That was a while ago.
It was February 2023.
God Lord.
So not quite 2 years ago, but yeah.
That's wild.
I know, it seems honestly like a lifetime ago for sure. It's so weird thinking back. And I mean, yeah, that weekend had like 2 of the King spawn were there. So,
they proliferate. They
do.
What is it? Go forth and multiply.
Yeah, let's make all the kings. He was a kingmaker. But yeah, I mean, I think he made the right decision. So we'll just stop bearing the lead. The name of that story is debridement, and if you know what the term means, then you have an idea. If you don't, just look it up. It's fine.
Yeah, or don't, or never look up that word ever.
Now you have to. Don't listen to Clay. You have to.
You could go through your whole life not knowing what that word means, and I think you would live a happier, more safe.
I think so. I would say so. Yes. I was telling my wife about that story, and all I had to really do is tell her the name, and she did not want to know more.
Yeah,
because she knew what it was, but
even like if you don't know, like it's such an ominous word, because it's I mean, debridement. There's nothing positive. There's nothing optimistic in that word.
Right, like even if you don't know what it means, you're like, oh, it's about a bride or something like that. Even if you have no idea and you're just using your context clues, and it doesn't sound positive, but it's much worse than that. It's much worse. Yeah. But that story, I guess my point is that story was one of those ones where you told it with a very upbeat, sort of cheery kind of voice, and I think that's what made it great.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of how I feel about what became known as the torture porn genre of movies. Like Hostel and all these different ones, Serbian film and such. Like it just became you know, they're just only gross. They're only terrible. There's nothing to say. There's nothing there other than let's horrify as viscerally as we can.
Yeah.
Really, by choosing the lowest hanging fruit known to man, even though it's stuff that nobody else has been reaching for, and there's obviously a reason, but it's still like pretty low hanging fruit. You're like, oh well, I could just like torture somebody and like think of the worst things ever and just do that. And even something like Terrifier, I think has a sense of humor, has a wink to it, and I think that's why those movies resonate with so many people. But your stuff is like both, you know, it goes both ways, Clay. It does. It's very, very viscerally awful and just so fun and pleasant somehow. I don't know how you do it. It's amazing. I mean, but
yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
No, it's funny. I mean, like, because I can't watch a Serbian film. I can't watch
me neither.
Terrifier. Like I'm actually, I mean, I'm gonna lose all of my street cred or my horror bona fides because
don't say it.
Well, I have like a weak stomach. Like I'm not someone who derives pleasure or enjoyment out of torture porn or out of the more visceral elements. Like I even get like squeamish at like Hellraiser, and you know, like I watched that with like kind of one hand over the eyes, and it's because it's like I feel it in my tummy, and it feels gross, and the nihilism of torture porn is something that I don't really enjoy on a intellectual level, but I mean, to go off of what you're saying of like have it both ways. I think the way to have it both ways, to have your cake and torture it too, is to ground it in something like an emotional context. And I think a story like Debridement is all about a woman who contracts a flesh-eating bacteria by accident, and she loses one of her legs, and it's basically her life after losing her leg and what that means. And you know, it, to me, the story isn't so much the grotesquerie of flesh-eating bacteria, though that is there. It's this character's, this narrator's, this protagonist's desire to feel wanted, to feel loved, to feel anything anymore after she's been kind of physically reduced to something lesser in the eyes of her husband, her family, you know. So yeah, and that's me being very kind of hoity-toity, lofty, but I think that's the trick. It's like if it was just like, ooh, and then the flesh-eating bacteria like chewed her skin, you know, like then it would just be like, yeah, okay, like that's gross.
Right.
But yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. You know, you're finding the way in, basically. You're like, okay, I have this terrible idea, but that's not enough. No, okay, how can I present this? How can I give the bad news in a good way? See? It's Men in Tights.
Yes. Richard Lewis is like, read me a gross story, but do it with heart.
Yes. Coincidentally, do you remember Boku, the Richard Lewis juice box for adults from the 90s? Do you remember this?
Oh my God. No.
Yeah. And what you got to do is after this, Clay, you have to look up Boku juice box on YouTube, and there are ads, and he's so Richard Lewis. He's in his full power at this point in time, and he's just like, I just wanted a Boku. She didn't want me to have a juice box. I'm like, I'm just a grown up. I just want a Boku in the Boku aisle. It's going to change your life. You're going to remember it all. I promise you. Everybody, see, this is the nostalgia crap. All right, so since we're already talking about debridement, the story, in Acquired Taste, let's just dive right into this collection. So this is a collection of 25 horror stories, which I believe have never been published before. Is that correct? These are all new?
Aha. There's the rub, my friend. It's actually the opposite. They've
Oh.
all been published.
Oh, okay.
Except for
My bad.
one. There's one in there that is a previously unreleased track.
Oh, gotcha. So
so-
that's okay. We'll just move on. Just blame the faulty narrator. No problem there.
In fact, they were all published. Says
Excellent.
Ron Howard.
And now they all are, exactly. Even the one that wasn't is today. So 25 horror stories, all written by you. The cover is very arresting. I love it. It's a woman's hand holding an axolotl. Or if people don't know what that is, it's a little pale lizard with little feathery things coming off the back of its head, which are its gills. I haven't gotten there in the book, but I presume people don't know this. This
there's
interview.
No story. There's no lizard.
There's no story. There's no story.
No.
Because there's a story called Sisterhood of the Salamander, and I was hoping.
No, I'm being cheeky. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
That, and it's so funny because like I think I'm not gonna say that I have my favorite stories, and I'm not gonna say I have my not favorite stories, but it's funny because Sisterhood of the Salamander, I think I might cop to being like a B-side. Like it's one of those stories that it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Like, like it's not like, yeah, like it's, it's not a single. It's not like,
gotcha.
It's not the first song off the record. Like it's not it's not a radio hit, but it's more kind of like introspective, quiet,
gotcha.
But it's, so when they were like, when Titan, the publisher, showed me cover mock-ups and they went for the salamander, the axolotl, I was like, really? And I had my doubts because it's all about nuns turning into axolotls because they're licking them. No, true. No, there is
true story. This really happened in France.
I mean, it starts off as a true story. Like there is a convent that is responsible, like their job, these nuns are in essence harvesting axolotls for what they call their mustard, because they exude a like a viscousy kind of slime that is naturally mentholated, and it's good for like vapor rub or like cough drops. And so like
this is true.
This is true. This is
okay. Wow.
This is a genuinely, I am dropping facts, right?
Love this. Okay.
Yeah. So I read that there's like a newspaper article about this, and I was like, this is insane. I love it. It's amazing. And why are they not licking the salamanders? like
they are. Like, you that didn't make it into the article, but they are.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, these nuns, because there's like a whole process, and like they have to like wear rubber gloves. You can't touch the lizards with your skin because it burned. Like all this stuff. Like it's like, and I was like, God, if I was one of these sisters, I would just lick it. I would just be like just one day I would be like, and like that would be it for me. I would be fired. I would be off salamander duty.
Yes. So you can't go just around licking the axolotls at pretty random.
So I wrote a story about it, being like, well, if if the nuns aren't licking the lizards, then the nuns in my story will, and they turn into salamanders. And it was like, it's like
you do.
I mean, it's like I'm not making a judgment call on the quality of the story itself per se, but I'm just saying it's not the story you lead with. Maybe it's like track 15, 20, if you're invested in the album, like there's like those stories where you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And hilariously, it is about like 9 or 10 or 12 or something in the table of contents. So,
and this is the cover. This is the cover of the book.
What were they thinking?
Well, thank God they did, because kid you not, like more people have responded to that cover because of that axolotl, because apparently axolotls are big. Like people love their lizards. And I have I like the book isn't even out yet, and like people are like giving me lizards, like they're giving me axolotl stuffies and axolotl like like paraphernalia, and it's the coolest thing ever. And I feel bad when they actually get the book and read the story, because they're going to be like, oh, that's
it's
what
not that good.
that's
That was
what it's all about. Oh,
That was very mid, Clay. I can't believe coincidentally, Axolotl Paraphernalia was my band in high school.
that's where you hide all the weed. That's the like,
Yeah.
like hide it in the axolotl stuffing.
You put your weed in there. What do you think? Those are gills? That is really interesting, because I have a question written down here already that this is now informing. So like I feel even better about my question. The three stories I've read are The Fireplace, Cyan, Magenta, Yellow, and Key, and also Debridement. Now, also, I'm going to loop in Sisterhood of the Salamander into this because it actually fits. These are all stories that a central theme, at least, is the fact that somebody is losing themselves. They're losing their body, their humanity, what makes them themselves. In all four of those stories, this happens. Is this something that was intentional for this collection? Do all the stories or is that just a coincidence? Is that just something you're happen to be interested in?
I mean, coincidence is, I think, a more charitable way of saying it's my shtick. And I love I love short stories. I love writing short stories. I love writing first-person narrative short stories. And I love stealing from Poe. And I'm aping his kind of formula for a short story, which is first-person narrative, protagonist, narrator, speaking directly to you, the reader, direct address. Hello, dear reader. I'm the narrator of this story. Take my hand. I will guide you through it. And oh, do you hear that heartbeat in the floorboards? Yeah, I murdered my neighbor, but I'm not crazy. Like that kind of like the formula or the format of his work was always seduce the reader, lure the reader in, wrap the narrative around them until they are either complicit or trapped in the narrative, and they are stuck with someone who probably shouldn't be talking to them. And I just love that.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Black Cat, Cask of Amontillado, like you name it. Like I just it's just catnip to me of like, like waltzing into a story, feeling like you, the reader, are safe. And then all of a sudden, no, you're not safe, because you're the silent scene partner to someone who is crazy. And I love that. And so I've just been like copying him for years, decades. Anytime I'm like writing a story, I'll just be like, okay, here we go. This is going to be like, hi, I'm your narrator. And I just
it's your safe place. I mean, it's what you're comfortable with now at this point. The other thing I would say that you do that he does that you didn't mention is starting. You sort of are catching the reader up at the beginning a little bit. So there's always a lot that has happened to lead them to the spot where the story begins, and I am a huge fan of that period.
Yeah,
you don't ever feel like you're starting at the beginning.
Yeah.
And Poe did that all the time.
Which is, I think that's the best, because in essence, the story has actually already happened. Whatever the events of the story are, they have transpired. And what you are getting is the narration of it by someone who was involved. And what that's like, the catch up that you're talking about is great, because it's basically you as the reader, from word one, sentence one, you're going in cold. You have no idea who these people are, what's going on. The who, what, why, where, when of it all is a mystery to you until the narrator starts kind of piecing these things together and telling you. It's the classic, this is my fishing story, this is the one that got away, or it was this big. And but what Poe does then in that catch up is you realize the reader, you realize too late that this is fucked up. You're in trouble. And it's because the person who is involved and is telling you what happened, they are not well. They are of unsound mind. And right. That's great, because going in completely naive and completely clean, we're all hey, let's read a story, this is gonna be fun, and oh, this narrator's talking to me, and oh, what's going on, and you start piecing things together, and
this story's about a cat. I like cats.
Yeah,
I have a black cat.
And ooh,
wonderful.
It's just but that's at what point is it the second sentence, the second paragraph, the second page? When
right.
do you as the reader start to kind of suspect that something's wrong, and right. you're I kind of want to get out of here. If you were in fact in the room with this person who is narrating the story, you would be oh my God, I need to get out of here. And a story does that too. It traps you.
Yeah.
And it's the only way, there's two options: put the story down, get the fuck out, or go through. And either way, you're stuck, you're trapped. And I just love that. It's the best. It's the best.
It is the best. And you do this in the very first story of the book, which is The Fireplace, which I absolutely loved. I had not read this before. This is an absolutely awesome story. It's also very my kind of story. I love everything about this story. Honestly, I like the way that the whole thing is, everything we were just talking about. It starts, you kind of catches you up, it's told in flashback, but also the awful stuff is, built in degrees, and there's the humor, and then the ending is exactly how I wanted it to end. It's not that I called it, but after reading it, it's yes, that's what I want. I don't want a happy ending. I want this. As a writer, I am almost incapable of writing short stories with happy endings. I just cannot do it. I cannot bring myself to do it. They just all need to end terribly. I don't know why that is, but it is definitely what I like. So this was perfect. But the freaking opening line of this, my friend, can I read the opening line to this?
Totally.
All right. So this is what starts out the entire book. So it's The Fireplace. I'm just going to read the opening line. The thought of tossing our baby in the fireplace first popped into my head a month or so ago. Around September, I'd say. Hey, I mean, that's telling the bad story in a good way. I mean, that's exactly what that's. You're winking. I can hear it. I can feel it. Absolutely killer opening line, not just to the story, but to the book. I definitely am very excited to keep reading this. Thank you for the copy you gave me. This comes out in a month. Everybody's going to be able to get it, but you can pre-order it now. Titan Books, you can get it everywhere. You're very easy to find, Clay McLeod Chapman. There aren't that many Clay McLeod Chapmans out there, luckily.
There are a couple Clay Chapmans. There's a minor league baseball player in, I think, North Carolina or Georgia, and I think there's a Reverend out there somewhere as well. So that McLeod is it's the only way I can go to the majors. But you mentioned that sentence. I feel the lesson that I've learned with short stories, and I should learn this lesson with novels too, is that you don't have much time, and you have to hook the reader. And I feel if I can get a good first sentence in there that makes you say, oh, well, I want to stick around, I want to find out Is he going to toss the baby into the fireplace? I don't know. I guess I should keep reading.
Why would you want to?
Yeah.
What is wrong with this man?
What is, dare say, what, you know, but that's, you know, and it's not even like I'm trying to be cavalier and be like, you gotta get him with that. You gotta hook him with that first sentence. But I think that there's something to be said about demanding the reader's attention. And it's hard to do that if you're like, the air was crisp on that autumnal day when the fire in the fireplace was crackling. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, and that's why, to go back to your earlier point, if you drop them in the middle, if you drop them in later, because storytelling is not linear. It's like we screw up stories all the damn time. Like, oh my God, I'm going to tell you about this thing that happened to me today, and I punched the cop. But let me tell you, it's because he said that I was driving on the wrong side of the road, and maybe I had a couple drinks. But that, it's like you start at a point where it's like, this is the thesis statement, or this is the this is the mission, like the shot across the bow. But then it's like, oh, well, let me clarify. Let me give you context. Let me go.
Then you embellish the fuck out of it. You can swear. You can swear, by the way, Clay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I was like, I've dropped 2 F-bombs. I'm like counting.
Good. No, you're good. We're good.
But you know what I mean? It's like, you can't. If in life, storytelling is not linear. In writing, I feel like, doesn't have to be either. And
right.
if in our first person mindset, we're like using the story to kind of mimic the act of storytelling, or what is kind of the oral tradition on the page, I feel like you can just be like, yeah, she's the one that got away, or like the fish was big,
that makes a lot of sense, actually. The idea of non-linear storytelling sort of emulating the oral tradition, because of the way we tell things out of order, and we forget parts, and we go back and we embellish, and we sort of go, oh no, actually I said that wrong, that happened, I put it here, but actually that happened later. And that is, you're right, that is, we are such flawed meat sacks in all the ways, certainly in storytelling. But I've never thought of that. That's really freaking interesting, that the idea of something like, this unreliable narrator who's maybe not in the traditional definition of it. They're telling you the truth as they believe it, but they just kind of keep screwing up, and so the story is just in a hodgepodge of different timelines. And I mean, sort of what Tarantino became famous for, right? I mean, the Pulp Fiction idea of, telling a story that is the opposite of linear, and you sort of have clues as to where you can sort of, if you're paying attention, you could put it together. You could edit that movie together in order if you're paying attention. But, so he knows, but you don't really need to know. It's not really that important what order, this person got shot in relation to this other thing that happened.
It's the Rashomon effect. It's like storytellers are liars. And and it's not that they mean to be, it's just that they are filtering events through their perspective. And if that is a first person perspective, then you're getting that information filtered through their point of view. Like, third person, in my opinion, is not doesn't lie, can't lie. Like, you're you can
omniscient
hide.
Narrator.
Like, you're the God's eye. You see all. But first person is messy, it's raw, it's clunky, it's clumsy, because it's like you're just stuck here. You're just stuck with the kind of the blinders on of the perspective of the narrator. And that's what, I mean, that is what unreliable narrators mean. Like, to me, like, that idea of like, it's not even so much that they have maybe they have an agenda, maybe they have a goal, maybe they want to like hide the truth from you, but it's like, even if I had the purest intent of telling you the truth of a particular event, you're still seeing it through my eyes because I'm the one telling you what I saw. And I saw it from this angle, where someone across the street saw it from their angle, and someone on the third floor of the apartment building saw it from that angle. And they're all different. But one is not more true than the other. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that stuff just fascinates me.
Yeah, that's really interesting, man. So true. It's so true. And I mean, that's why, you can have, variations on a theme, right? You can have somebody, you can pick 3 stories that are similar, and they're utterly different. They are all with value, even though they're basically telling the same thing. And I think that's, part of what makes that true is, an author's unique voice, because nobody can exactly copy anyone else's perfect, voice, the way that they're writing. And I do think, for what it's worth, to bring this back to you, because this is like your episode, you have a very strong voice in all of the things that I've ever read of yours. And I think that's one of your greatest talents, like, by far. So Aquired Taste, it's the one with the cute lizard. It's coming out in a month by Titan Books. Collection of 25 short stories, all horror. They're all going to be winking at you. I'm just calling it. I feel very confident. There's going to be a lot of winking of clay, invisible clay, like over your shoulder, like as you read it. But so we covered like pretty much everything I'd written. The humor stuff I was really wanted to get into, but we started with that, and that is all throughout these stories for sure. Clay, I was hoping we could get into like some of your other recent stuff too, because like, man, you have just been killing it these last couple of years. Banger after banger, everything is coming out. It's like rapid fire pace, and you've been at this a while. You clearly have a very expansive career in the written word, as it were. What Kind of Mother, Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, Ghost Eaters. You got starred reviews coming out of the woodwork, award nominations, articles in Esquire and the New York Times. These are the things you get to see if you follow Clay McLeod Chapman on social media. I'm just putting that out in the universe in case anybody's interested. How did you get your start into this crazy thing we call authordom? Nobody calls it that.
Wow. It's funny when you put it into kind of perspective. From the inside looking out, like, it's just like I'm grinding, and like, I have to deal with my own kind of personal detract. Like my kind of inner critic screams pretty loud most days. So to hear the outside looking in kind of perspective of it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's pretty wild.
If you do the math, it's a big number.
So my origin story is that, like, I had a bit of a Cinderella story. Where in college,
You were
2000, a long time ago, when I was an undergrad, I lucked into a 2-book deal with Disney, with their publishing arm.
Wow.
And yeah, it was wild. I mean, it was honestly like, I spent the majority of my undergrad years, all 4 years, writing stories much like the ones that are in Aquired Taste, like first person narratives, like just like weird kind of character diatribes, and at the end of undergrad, senior year, I didn't know what to do with myself, and I had lofty ambitions of being a writer, and I thought that, like, once I graduated, the diploma fairy would just wave her magical diploma and poof, but then the harsh reality of the real world was kind of coming, and so I panicked, and I ran to the local Barnes and Noble, sat down in the aisle with, like, this is almost pre-internet, where, like, there was this book called The Writer's Market that comes out every year, thick as a telephone book, and it has every snail mail address, every email address, every telephone number for every agent, publishing company, manager, you name it. Like, it just has everything. And I just spent hours in the Barnes and Noble. I didn't buy the book because I couldn't afford it, but I was just like, I'm gonna like comb through this thing and find all the addresses for agents that I thought would get into what I have to offer. And I like wrote down like 40 different addresses at the end of the day. And I sent them all via snail mail. I sent them a copy of one story with a cover letter. And I was like, please, please, please read this story. And if you like it, there's more where that came from. And 39 of them wrote back and said, thanks, but no thanks. And one of them wrote back and said, I'll check this out. And long story short, forgive me, 3 weeks later, that agent got me this 2-book deal 2 weeks before graduating college.
Wow. Damn.
It was nuts. It was nuts. I mean, like, I did not have the emotional maturity to know. I mean, it felt big and it felt like total dream come true, but I didn't know what like the what it was just was kind of beyond me. The first book was a collection of short stories, and the second book had to be a novel. And that was over 20 years ago now, almost 25 years ago. And both of those books tanked. Like, nobody read them. Like, I just died on the vine, on the bookshelf. Because this was like that pre-horror boom phase where like there was no horror bay, no horror section at the Barnes and Noble.
Right.
Like, it all got absorbed into like fiction.
Yeah, right.
And
yeah.
they didn't call the books horror. Like, they were like literary fiction, but like kind of like positing them as something a little bit darker and creepier, but like not horror. Yeah, nobody read them. They did. They first, like, the short stories were kind of like, people were like, eh. And then the second book, the novel, my first novel, just like, it was rough.
Wow.
I got put in writer jail for over 10 years. I couldn't publish anything to save my life. Nobody wanted to touch me. My agent couldn't get me anything. Like, it was really sad. Like, I retroactively paid all of my dues after the fact. And it was so hard. But that was my origin story. I had the best and the worst experience. But it was actually the best. I mean, like in all fairness, like, I would take those 10 years of not being able to get published because I got to do other things, which I was really
and you got to learn and temper yourself and your expectations, and you wouldn't be the person or the writer you are today if you had found immediate success with those books that you have grown far past at this point.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk comics, because you've obviously written a lot of comics, you would be the Rob Liefeld, and nobody likes that guy. You would be on the internet today bitching about Galactus looking too fake right now.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and nobody wants that.
Yeah. I mean, there were some lean years, but here's the choice. I mean, like, the choice I made, like, I took my advance because this was Disney. And this was like, was like for a 22-year-old to get this advance, it was like it was a 6-figure deal.
Wow.
For a 22-year-old. And I stretched that money out. Like, that shit lasted me 5 years.
Wow.
Where, like,
damn.
Like,
oh my God.
But I was in my 20s. Like, what was
Sure.
I doing? I was eating ramen and like tuna out of the can.
Yeah, but like, what other 20-year-old would be that smart and have such foresight? I mean, most of them would be blowing it on everything and wouldn't last 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that you were able to do that and be intelligent, have the wisdom to hang on to stuff, because it's feast right now, but sometimes feast becomes famine.
Yeah.
And that's amazing that at that young of an age you would be able to do that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, it wasn't like I have to pinch my pennies, but it was more that like it was more like, I mean, I don't know, like I was a bit of a dork in the sense that like I wasn't like Jaguar or like House on the Hill, it wasn't that big of an advance.
Dude, you just said Jaguar, so I believe it. I
think it is pronounced Jaguar. No, but like you know what I mean. Like I didn't know what to like. I was just a kid.
I could get the good ramen. Like that's the only thing I could think of.
Oh my god. Literally for a year. And this is when I realized, like, because the first 2 to 3 years I was like under the assumption that this would be my life, that like I could write, and that like the next book would come out and I could write a book a year, and like that was the assumption kind of going in. And then shortly after the second book came out, it became abundantly clear that that was not going to be the case, and that I was going to be in trouble. So for a year I lived off of craft, not even craft, but like the kind of like off, like the knockoff brand, like instant macaroni,
Stop and Shop brand
tuna fish. Yeah.
Wow.
I like just add water, not even butter, not milk, but like
Right.
add water, mac and cheese, and a can of tuna fish. And I would like,
Wow.
I was like living like some alley cat. Like that was just the nasty, like to this day, if I smell off-brand Kraft mac and cheese, I'm just like, takes me back to 23 so
Jesus.
fast.
Jesus, that I mean, that's, you're describing, I think, the diet that Christian Bale had for The Machinist.
Oh my god, I probably have like, I've probably like destroyed some body part, like my kidney, like my body can't filter cheese. It's not even cheese, it's like chemical, right. Like powder.
Powder, yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, you know, you're describing all those early Metallica years too, when they talked about having they're like, we couldn't even afford what was it? They're like, people talk about, you know, which sandwich did you have? What was your go-to sandwich when you were in Skid Row trying to make it big? And they're like, yeah, we couldn't even afford sandwiches. We just had bologna on hand.
It's true though, man. Like, you learn to live, you learn to survive.
Yeah.
Those are some rough years. But the wild thing is that I never stopped writing. The choice I made was, I'm going to be a starving artist, and I'm going to write every day and find work doing that. So that's what led to comics. That's what led to screenwriting. That's what led to perform. Like I wrote anything that anybody wanted me to write. I said yes to everything that came my way. And that's because I was writing to survive. And it led to like, it sent me down all of these amazing paths that just like, I mean, like I couldn't bore you with all of them, but like, it's just like comics, children's publishing, playwriting, like like screenwriting. Like I did everything, and a lot of it I did very poorly, but I was writing and I was making a living writing, not a great living writing, but I was writing. And like eventually, slowly, it led to, you know, what you were mentioning before, of like the last 2 years of like, you know, like getting on my feet again and feeling like I'm getting somewhere.
Does it feel different? Does it feel different for you now? Like these last couple of years, like, can you feel it, or are you just the frog in the pot of boiling water in it, and you're always gonna not spend more than you absolutely have to, because you never know? Like,
I mean, like, different? Well, survivor's guilt is always going to be like, is that survivor's guilt? What, like survivability is always going to be like, the ethos of the starving artist is still in me. And that's because everybody rides a wave and then the wave goes away. Like you might have a big wave, it might be a long wave, but like the wave peters out. And I don't know how long my wave is going to last. So I'm going to say yes to every opportunity that comes my way. I'm going to live life to the fullest and enjoy it, because it could all go away. It will all go away. Like, I'm not going to be the Rolling Stones. I'm going to be like, I have a shelf life. And when people get tired of me and bored, they're going to move on. And like, I just want to feel like when that happens, I will have done everything in my power to either do it and make the most of it and have the most fun doing it. So, and support my family.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, I would agree that you're not the Rolling Stones, but you know what band you are? You're fucking Green Day. You're the band that at the beginning, you probably didn't think you were going to have another album, maybe. Yeah. You're like, this is fun. I'll just do this as long as I can. And then 25 years later, the kids all still love Green Day. Yeah. For some crazy reason, they just never stopped. And I don't know why. They've just never stopped being cool. I think you're Green Day for sure.
I mean, God, to be Green Day. Like, because when I think of Green Day, what I think of is longevity and consistency, to the extent that like they are cranking out albums, and every so often, like the world at large might not pay attention to every album. They're not all dookies, but every so often one album kind of bubbles up to the surface and everybody pays attention to it. Like what? Yeah, I'm blanking on my Green Day post, but like what's the one with the that turned into the Broadway musical with the my hand is up grenade, or like Saint?
I'm just an American idiot, so I wouldn't know, but
maybe American Idiot. But like, but I guess what I'm saying is like, you know, they have their fans, they have their diehards, and then sometimes they have an album that like lifts up above the consistency, and like everybody pays attention. Like that would be a dream. Like writing stuff for people who want to read my stuff, and then every so often there's a book that like kind of reaches the whatever's on the other side of that.
Well, I mean, I just saw you share a post today, I think, and it was all these people who I think through Instagram all sent you pictures of themselves like licking random things, and it's all because they are excited for your new book, Acquired Taste.
Oh, dude.
It's amazing. I couldn't believe how many there were. There was so many. Yeah. Really cool. Really cool.
I didn't think that one through, and I'm glad no one like sued me or like maybe, well, it's early days, but like, so there's the licking the axolotls. Like there's the like the motif, like there's that story of like nuns licking lizards, and I don't know.
Which just sounds like a porn, like 100%. Like if you say it, I'm just saying, if you say it like that.
Yeah. Oh dear. But like, I was like, I have arcs to give away.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so bored. Like we're all kind of like drifting through social media, and nobody's doing it well anymore. And I was like, I want to do something that like, I want to do an arc giveaway on social media, but I want to do it like a little bit different. So I was like, let's just have people licking stuff and taking pictures of it. And I just didn't think that one through. And if I had given it a little more forethought, some angel.
I'm so glad you didn't. No. I'm so glad you didn't.
That is not an endorsed, like no one from Titan Books is claiming that one. So like, you know, all of your letters of complaint should go forwarded to me.
I don't know if you are like acutely aware of your powers, but you have some serious superpowers. Like I think we could make a trading card and you would have, different stats, your, power level, your intelligence, your, charisma and all this stuff. And on the back, it would list all your powers. And I don't know if you quite understand them or like are responsible with them and like in this case, but your powers are there and I see them all the time whenever you post a anything that you're doing that's like a promo, or if you visit a bookshop that has your book, you somehow are able to get like you went to London and there was like, I don't know, 35 to 50 people all throughout this little bookshop. And you just ran through it up and down the aisles screaming that they had your book. And they all were like there for it. And like, I'm just like, who else has ever even done this or even thought of this? You do these like insane like flash mob type things that it's just you're the flash mob.
Yeah.
It's a clay mob and everybody stops what they're doing. And it's amazing. It's like absolutely freaking amazing. And I think the axolotl thing, send me pictures of you licking random items is like, this is your power. You're supposed to be responsible with great power, but you just get people to do crazy stuff. I would be a bad host if at some point in this interview we didn't swing things around to your live performances. And I have to call them live performances. You do not read your stories. You perform them. You have it's like Shakespeare in the Park in a bookstore. So if anybody out there has yet to make it to one of your in-person events, no matter what it is, you are guaranteed a good time, A, and B, you are guaranteed that Clay is going to make you do some shit that you never expected to be doing that night. You're just going to do it, and you're going to be happy about it. And you know what? It's for the power of good, which is nice.
I mean, that's the thing, though. That is genuinely the thing where, like, I feel as if we are living in times where it's not a given that everyone's happy and safe and or has the money to buy a book, or I value people's presence in such a way that it's like an event. If I'm responsible for a book event and people come out, I feel like I owe them. And like you want to, it's not even that it's got to be a show. It's like I don't want to like wow them, but I do want to make it feel like this is singular, this is special, this matters, and I'm okay if it's at the expense of my own humility, or like I'm just I don't think I'm a very smart individual. Like I'm just a goof. Like I'm a like I don't care how I present myself, because if I have to hear myself say buy my book one more fucking time, like I'm gonna lose my mind. And if I go to a reading that's dry and stale, I'm just like, why are we even here? Like, why are we like? And I get the value to it and the maturity of it, but I don't possess that maturity. I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like I just
You're
want
the
people
jester.
to be happy.
I think you're chaos.
Yeah.
I think you're Puck. I think you are chaos, but I think you're chaotic good, Clay. And I think that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome that in this world where we are right now, you're aiming to bring some joy, and just on that level, just you're like, okay, well, I've written this thing that hopefully people will enjoy, and joy will be had. But I'm gonna double and triple down on my live shows, and it's really really amazing. I mean, I got to see you. You know, obviously you read Debridement, which is not a fun story, and then I got to see you do Late Bloomer, which is a story you wrote a long time ago that was turned into a wonderful short film a long time ago. I think 2001 maybe. The story, the movie, I think, really, really great. And you just absolutely blew everybody away.
Where was it? Where?
It was Nikon, 2024 Nikon.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
And you were the last. Thank God they put you last, Clay, because wow, nobody could have followed that. Wow, just absolutely amazing. Human Hurricane. That's all I can say. Unbelievable. So like, if people, but then what I witnessed, because I didn't know you, like, I met you a couple of times, but like you did this, and you are like Spinal Tap. You went to 11. You were up there and you went to 11. And then immediately afterwards, what I saw was you kind of exhale. And it was like a full body, full spirit exhale.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is that doing that takes a lot out of you. You're typically very, very soft-spoken, quiet person. But when you are up there, you transform, and you're just a hurricane. And I think it's amazing that you put yourself through that. I mean, it's nice. It's great that you feel everybody who comes to your live show deserves this performance and you want to bring some joy. But it's also very apparent to me that it's not easy. You make it look easy. You make it look like you live this way if you just see the performance. But when I saw you exhale and like kind of shrink back to the wall and out of the spotlight, and it's like, oh no, there's Clay. There he is.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing. I mean, I think all actors sort of to a degree are able to do that, and that's the whole shtick. But it's an amazing talent, and I can't say I know a single other author that does. I mean, on a great day, an author isn't shy when they're reading, unlike an amazing day. There are some just absolutely gigantic authors that are, I mean, when I had Chris Golden on a couple months ago, we talked very extensively about imposter syndrome. And this is something, he has suffered from his entire life, his whole career. He's been, published since the 80s, and he's done everything known to man. And this is still something that, I go to his readings, and you can tell he's nervous. He's uncomfortable up there, doing his best to do what he's supposed to do. And it's amazing that certain people, you get to the different levels, but your stick is just beyond, is all I'm saying. So everybody's got to go out, get off your butts, follow Clay online and see where he's going to be performing. 'Cause you go all over. I think you're from New York, right? So there's a lot of New York stuff, but then you pop up everywhere. Like I keep seeing yeah,
I mean,
going everywhere.
You're being really kind to me. The only devil's advocate, the only thing I would throw to counter.
Yes, please do.
If I were a better writer, I don't know if I would have all the bells and whistles. Like
I think you would.
What is the Shakespeare? It's like, speak the speech, I pray you. Like, it's just like, you don't need the performative, like all that stuff is just gravy, or maybe it's lipstick on a pig. I don't know. But like, it's like, it is that feeling of like, I really hope, I mean, it has to go back to the words. It has to go back to the stories. And if it doesn't, then I'm fucked. Like, that's like, it's all in service of the stories and the books. So I'm just throwing it out there. And, you mentioned Nikon and that kind of like that exhale. I am not the spring chicken that I used to be. Like that late bloomer story I wrote in 2000. Yeah, it was probably 2001, 2002. The film didn't come out till 2004, 2005. And
Okay.
doing that story now, 20 plus years later, I get lightheaded. Like by the end, I'm just like, whew.
So have you been
dizzy.
performing it like that for 20 years at live events?
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's, I try not to do it all the time because I don't want to repeat myself too much. That's like the rate, like that story in particular is a bit of like the radio hit. Like that's my dookie. Or not dookie. What's one of the songs?
Longview is the only thing coming to mind, but that's far and away not their biggest.
Do you have the time?
Yeah, right. Basket Case.
Basket Case. Yeah. It's such a goof. It's a lark of a story, but like,
oh, no. No, you can't downplay that story. That story is freaking brilliant, man. Like, you don't even know what the main character is talking about, and that is not told in flashback. The character is a kid in class, and he's describing what's happening, but he's describing it in a way that H.P. Lovecraft would describe fucking anything, because he always has to whip out the $65 words no matter what he's talking about, and he's always flexing. Lovecraft was flexing at all times. That man was nothing but muscle striations, I'm sure, and he just had that way. So you're like sort of lovingly poking fun at Lovecraft and the way he would write and describing something as if it were a cosmic horror, but in reality it's just the kid in sex ed class and the teacher is showing off pictures of like genitalia, and it's so long before that is revealed. Like the moment that you finally said what it was like halfway through the story or more. And like the entire crowd, there was this pregnant pause of silence, and then everything erupted in this like wave of laughter, and you like perfectly paused for it because obviously you've done this so many times, you knew it was coming, and that story is magnificent. I mean, it's perfect for what you wanted it to be. It's the perfect version of this very silly idea. It's so well done. Yeah, please be kind. Be kind to Late Bloomer. It's really, really good. Many of us would wish that we could write a Late Bloomer at some point. It's very, very good.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to pull that one out now. Like, I need to like take a deeper breath and be like, okay, here we go. We're gonna do this. Like
it's
my knees
interesting to hear you say that.
Popping.
It's so interesting to hear you say that because I didn't know, but I saw that exhale. I saw it, and it's like, wow, that was hard. That was really tough. That was a lot. That was a lot.
It was hard.
Yeah, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So I guess, we've covered a lot of stuff, Clay. We've been on for over an hour now, and like I said, your career is very expansive. It's very impressive. Can't cover everything, and I think we've had a great conversation. I'm really so happy that it went the way it did. But I didn't get to bring up some of your books. I did want to bring up Ghost Eaters, because Ghost Eaters is now in development at Sony Screen Gems and is based on your 2022 novel. Come on, man, spill the beans. Whatever beans you can. This is very exciting.
Oh my God, it's wild. It's wild. This is all I've ever wanted. I'm like such a film nerd that like
same. Yeah, same.
No one will be happier through this experience than me, regardless of what happens from here on out. If it goes, if it doesn't go, if it gets greenlit, doesn't get greenlit, like I'm gonna live every moment feeling just so happy because I don't know. It's all I wanted. But Maggie Levin is adapting it to direct herself, which is amazing because she's amazing. It's directed. It's produced by Scott Derrickson.
Hell yeah! Scott Derrickson of The Black Phone, of Sinister, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
He's also doing one of Chris Golden's books coming up into a movie, which is amazing.
It was fun to kind of like
so exciting.
Talk to him about it because Crooked Highway, their production company is developing Rotobones and Ghost Eaters. So we'll see.
Amazing. I all my fingers are crossed, I got to tell you. And when I told, I thought you'll laugh, when I told my daughter, who is 16, that I was going to be interviewing you and that you had one of your books was going to be turned into a movie, she was so excited. And she doesn't know who you are or anything. I'm not going to make you think she does. And she's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God, can we go to the premiere? Because in her brain, she's like, this is a person so that means we can go to the premiere of this movie. And I'm like, Maddie, I think you're possibly putting the cart before the horse here. But she was very excited.
Are you a fan of Adam Cesare?
I am familiar with his, he does the Clown in a Cornfield trilogy.
Yeah.
I know you're really good friends with him and do a lot of appearances with him. I've never met him. I've never read his stuff. He seems like a great dude. But
I mean, this has been his year because of the film version of Clown in a Cornfield.
Right.
And watching him experience everything and like being invited to everything and going to everything, like it is, I am so envious, but like so happy. Like it's just like, it's the coolest thing because he deserves it. He's worked really hard and like it's just like like he's maximizing the experience, and like I feel like we're all kind of like living vicariously through him right now, and just like I don't know, like it couldn't have happened to a better person.
That's awesome.
And it's just like I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing. And I think we've all kind of from our phones and computers and social media accounts like been able to kind of like bear witness to this experience. It's really awesome.
Friendo lives. Very cool. I will admit to being a little frustrated right now though, because you said his name the two ways that I have tried pronouncing it, but I'm not sure. But you're his actual friend, and you also said two different ways to pronounce his name. So I'm at a loss for words right now.
It's a running joke, and he obfuscates. So like, even if you ask him directly, how do you say your last name? He'll give you an answer. And then like 3 minutes later, someone else will be like, hey, Kaiser. And he'll be like, like, it's like, it's just something.
Oh, so it's like, it's the Joker. It's the Joker origin story.
Exactly. He's told me, and I've heard other people ask and him tell them, and yet, do I even know how to pronounce his last name? No, because there's just like, he does it differently every freaking time.
Caesar, Kaiser.
Kaiser. He's Kaiser Sose.
He's there he is. That's amazing. And it's really cool to see just this wave of horror writers that are finding success in these last few years anyway. And obviously Eric LaRocca and Steve Graham Jones. 5 years ago he was not a household name,
but he had like 30 books out.
I know. And it's crazy, right? Because like you and like so many people, you just keep at it, and eventually if it hits, and people think they just discovered this new person, and you're like, dude, I've been here for decades. Like, thanks for noticing me.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, overnight success takes like 200 years.
And I mean, if your initial deal, if those first two things had hit, you never would have been the guy that I think you never would have been the guy who performed at your shows, at your readings. You never would have been this hungry person that became who you are today and can appreciate all the success that's coming your way now on the same level. And this Ghost Eaters movie, dude, I hope so bad this is going to happen. I am very excited for this. Very excited for Chris Golden as well. He's got two. He's also House of Last Resort, freaking Michael B. Jordan. My kid also can't get over that. Like, are you nuts?
That's like
insane.
When that and that dropped like the week after Sinners came out. And it's just like,
no,
yeah,
I can't believe it.
golden ticket to Christopher Golden get.
I know, it's the best. It's the best. I mean, who's earned it more than him? I mean, like, absolutely. I got to stop talking about Chris Golden though. He's gonna hear about it, and
he's gonna.
I don't know. I don't want to know what he's gonna do. But also, so Seance in the Asylum. Let's end on this. So you've been doing this. This is a 4-part comic series by Dark Horse. I know you have worked on some really big Marvel stuff. You know, you worked on the Avengers, Iron Fist, lots of Spider-Man. You wrote freaking Absolute Carnage. You wrote on that. Like, I mean, how does it go? How do you go from something, you know, these humongo titles, known by every comic reader, to something like this? Like, you know, was this a creator-owned deal that you pitched?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's end on this. Like, tell us about Seance in the Asylum.
It's interesting because like I was doing research for Ghost Eaters, and I was reading this book, and there was this little snippet of this. It mentioned it wasn't even like I was reading this book, and this book mentioned this other book, and this other book was like written in 1855 or something. And I was like, that book sounds really cool. I want to find that book. And, you know, dug around, like, you know, hunted it down, like try to find it. And I found it finally. And it has one of these long-winded titles that makes no sense because it was written in 1855. But the theory, it was a doctor. He wrote, it was like a pamphlet, a medical treatise, basically positing this theory that he actually had. This is a genuine, true story.
Okay.
He says that spiritualism and seances and contacting the other side, piercing the veil and communicating with the dead, communicating with spirits, is in of itself a form of group therapy. And that if you work in a mental institution, much like this doctor did, and you perform seances for your patients, that by contacting the other side, by contacting spirits, you can channel them into the unwell mind and heal or therapeutically exorcise the maladies, the mental maladies of your patients. This is 1855, so like,
wow, that's
amazingly
cool.
I read that and I was like, holy moly, that's amazing. How come no one's ever written this? And so I did. And I'm personally obsessed with that kind of era and period in time, because you have the Civil War. You also have the Fox sisters, which was the kind of like the burgeoning beginnings of spiritualism and this kind of like religious movement of, you know, contacting the dead and communicating with ghosts. And those two things, the Civil War and spiritualism, like they kind of go hand in hand in a lot of ways. And you couldn't have necessarily the success of one without the other. And I just wanted to write a story of like that. And it was just so much fun. It was so cool because, when you write for comics, you're definitely not doing it for the money, but like the ability to kind of tell a story in this kind of visual format and work with amazing artists and just like, I don't know. There's an alchemy to comic books that like
there is.
That's
such a good way to say it. And you know, you've posted pictures of, you know, you and your sons like going to the local comic shop and getting the new issue, which, you know, has just gotta not get old.
It doesn't for me. It totally does for them. They're like, okay, Dad, let's get your comic. You know, like they're totally over me at this point.
There is nothing you can do as a parent to be cool to your kid. There's no job that actually exists. You know, I mean, like, I'm sure the coolest sports, like, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of sports ball, but like, I'm sure that like the best players, their kids think they're lame. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Oh, did you score another goal, Dad? Like,
is that your 5th, Super Bowl?
How many Heismans do you have? I don't care. I want to hear about your Heismans.
At least that stuff comes with millions and gazillions of dollars.
That's true. That's true.
I could be like, hey, son, look at the comic book I wrote. And they're like, Dad, I need to eat dinner. I need food on my table.
Oh, God. Freaking hilarious. Clay, this has been a true pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us about your good works. And we wish you the absolute best with everything coming up. You also have a new book I just saw today on your page that I didn't even get it down. There's a new one that got announced. There's After Shiny Happy People, which is also new. And you just, so guys, check out Clay online. Clay, are there places that you want people to follow you or anything like that? You want to kind of promo any of your socials or anything?
I mean, I'm on all of them and I'm doing them all kind of poorly. Like, I'm just let's try Blue Sky. Let's see how Blue Sky is. Let's try Threads. Let's see how Threads
What's this about?
Yeah. Well, good Lord. I was kicked off of Threads I tried to log in on my laptop and it was like, we don't recognize this laptop. And I was like, but it's me. And I kept doing it until they were finally like, due to suspicious activity, we are blocking you from this account. And weeks. And I had that cold shakes, I gotta get my Threads fixed. And it finally they let me back on this week. And it was the first time in ever. But yeah,
the dopamine hits were intense. I'm sure.
Yeah, it hit hard. The wave. I'm just right now.
Well,
it's the dragon, the social media dragon.
Oh, you're chasing it, still chasing that dragon. Well, guys, definitely follow Clay wherever you can. He's a fun person to follow, and he always posts these live events. You can check out what I'm talking about, and if you can get out and actually see him in person, that's the best way to do it. Get his new, please, Acquired Taste. Acquire the Acquired Taste at all local bookshops if you can. If not, then online bookshops work too. But we love buying local if you can do that, and that's always the way. Thank you once again. I think I'm just gonna say the outro because I'm just gonna keep babbling otherwise. Guys, that wraps up the episode. So if you haven't jumped ship by now, we certainly hope you've enjoyed this week's journey over the treacherous waters of all the things that made growing up awesome. If you like what you've heard, please hit up our popular Facebook group and subscribe to the show on your podcast app of choice. You can also find us on Good Pods, where you can like episodes, leave reviews, and give us some much appreciated feedback. As if you didn't know, Ridoctopus is a full-fledged member of the Dorkening podcast network, so if you get a chance, please check out our sister shows like Epic Tales from the Sewers with our co-host Justin Cooper, Splash Pages, Comic Paradox, Still Token With, Talking Game and Tech, Hooked on Movies. Oh man, there's 30 shows on that network, and you know what? You're bound to like a bunch of them. So go please visit thedorkening.com and be sure to check out our killer sponsors, Deadly Grounds Coffee, coffee to die for. I have been your host with the most. My name is Parasite Steve, and it is indeed a sad thing that your adventures have ended here. Good night.